What's up, YouTube? Yeah4772 here, coming to you guys with a sideboarding video, a sideboarding technique video kind of thing. I had a lot of requests asking me how to sideboard, and there's one particular request for that was asking me to talk about a solar flare sideboard. I'll try to get to that. I'm not too familiar with solar flare right now, because I did build it when it was like super popular before Kessig even came out. But I do have Esper Control right now, which uses the same colors as Solar Flare, so hopefully the sideboard's the same. So I'll go ahead and give you guys an overview of my deck. It shouldn't be no different than when I last showed you my deck tech, aside maybe from a couple cards. Alright, so this is what I've got for my deck. I kind of sorted them by their role in the deck. I've got all the removal up here. So 3 Doomblades, 3 Day Judgments, 2 O-Rings, a Tribute to Hunger. And then I've got the cantrips of 3 Think Twice, 4 Forbidden Alchemies. Got the counter spells, 4 Mana Leaks, 3 Dissipates. And then I've got the guy who does everything, Snapcaster Mage. Then I've got the win conditions right here. Sorry for the glare. These are 2 Consecrated Sphinxes, 2 White Suns, a Gideon Jura, and then a Batterskull. So, and the lands doesn't really matter. I mean, because you're not really going to be sideboarding out lands anyways. So let's go ahead and pop my camera back on top of my computer, and I'll talk about my sideboard. So I'll give you guys, in no particular order, 15 card sideboard. Give you guys a chance, because I'm gonna, you'll see. Alright, so 15 cards. I've got 1 Karn Liberated, 2 Phantasmal Images, 1 Elishnorn, 3 Surgical Extractions, 1 Negate, 3 Timely Reinforcements, 1 Day of Judgment, 2 Ratchet Bombs, and then last but not least, a Ghost Quarters, which I will explain later in the video. So you guys can pause the video here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort my sideboard into 3 different groups, depending on what I would sideboard in for different archetypes, such as control, combo like Kessig Wolfrun, and the last one, which is aggro. So you guys can pause it if you want, or just keep going. Just let's just see how similar we think about what to sideboard in. So okay, so I've got my 3 groups, 3 piles ready. First things first, let's go ahead and get through combo with Kessig Wolfrun. So you already have a pretty decent Kessig Wolfrun matchup. The only thing you're really going to be needing to sideboard in are the 2 Phantasmal Images, because they're going to be sideboarding in Thruns. And you can't really deal with Thruns except with Tribute to Hunger, if Thrun is the only creature on their field. So 2 Phantasmal Images, copies Thruns. What would you take out? This is pretty useless, Gideon Jura. All the creatures are huge. It's not going to save you more than a turn. Gideon is just going to get wrecked. And then Batterskull. This card, gaining life doesn't really matter against Kessig Wolfrun. They're just going to trample over your dudes. They're going to infect over your dudes, and it just doesn't really matter. So everything else is a keeper, and these can turn into win conditions if you copy like Primeval Titans and Inferno Titans and what other stuff? Wormcoal Engines maybe. Alright, so for aggro, I've got plenty of stuff for aggro. So this deck has a really bad matchup against aggro, so obviously the sideboard is going to be mostly dedicated towards aggro. So my aggro sideboard includes 1 Elishnorn, 3 Timely Reinforcements, a Day of Judgment if necessary, and 2 Ratchet Bombs. Alright, so the Day of Judgment is kind of conditional here. This only really comes in against tokens, or against tokens, really. Green-white tokens, I don't know if that's even an archetype tier, but this comes in against tokens. It's not so good against mono-red because they can normally beat you down with 1 or 2 creatures, because they have just that much burn. What would I side out in the case of aggro? Let's say in the case of mono-red. What side comes out? Obviously, these come out. Mono-red's so fast that Dissipate's not going to do shit against them. We've got the Dissipates come out. We've got these guys come out. They're kind of bad against mono-red. They are a 4/6 beater, but that's pretty much all they are in mono-red because you're not trying to win by burying them on their cards under card advantage. Let's see, what was that? 6, 7 cards. I would take. Well, I mean, what was that? Was that 5? I would probably take out 1 White Sun Zenith. This card's kind of long. It just takes so long to activate. Or I would even take out a Snapcaster Mage. The 6th card is kind of up to you. But you don't want to take out like O-Rings and like Doomblades and stuff because those are super relevant against mono-red. I honestly wouldn't side in a day against mono-red. So these are the 6 cards that would come in. 3 Timelies, 1 Elishnorn, and then possibly 2 Ratchet Bombs. So last but not least, control matchups. Your control deck, they're going to be a control deck. Games are going to be long, drawn out. They're going to be probably like turn 10 before anybody does anything. So you want to be prepared for that. You don't want to be missing your land drops. And this is where the extra land in the sideboard comes in handy. So, control decks, you've got Big Daddy Karn, 3 Surgical Extractions, because they're obviously going to be running Snapcaster Mages. 1 Negate, and then a Ghost Quarter. What would come out? Gideon Druid comes out. This guy is so bad against control. There is nothing for him, nothing to attack him. This guy animates, boom, he gets Doombladed. So this guy is really bad. I would take out an O-Ring. O-Ring's kind of slow against control. Once they stick a threat, they're already going to do something. Like Karn, they stick a Karn, they're going to already exile 1 of your creatures. The damage has been done. 3 Day Judgments. Control decks generally don't run like any creatures, so you take out Day of Judgments because there's no point to Wrath the board. Tribute to Hunger. Normally, Tribute to Hunger is not gonna get anything big. They'll normally have, like, even if they have a Sphinx out, they can just Snapcaster something back and they'll just sack their Snapcaster, and life isn't very relevant in control matchups. It's whoever can get the most cards first. Get the most advantage. So, that was 6 cards? Yes, that was 6 cards. So, what comes in? A Ghost Quarter. You don't want to be missing your land drops in control matchups. Ghost Quarter comes in, brings you up to a 4th, brings me up to a 4th Ghost Quarter. And this is especially good when they're running Nephalia Drawn Yards, So you could just keep ghost courting the Nephalia Drown Yards. You don't have to be afraid of getting milled out unless you're really unlucky and you just don't see any of your ghost quarters. 8th counterspell, Negate comes in. Control have very little creatures. Just such as my deck, I have I have 6 creatures in the form of 4 Snapcaster Mages and 2 Consecrated Sphinxes. So this has a lot of relevant targets. And most of the time Snapcaster Mages are going to be flashing back something that you can just negate. So this card is so relevant in control matchups. Big Daddy Karn. You guys have probably noticed that I like to keep my win conditions about 5 or 6 cards in my deck. 5 or 6 win cons in my deck. Obviously, the 2 Sphinxes are going to be tremendous against control matchups. Card advantage is always a good thing in control matchups. White Sun Zenith is also just as good because the end of their turn, if you don't counter anything, you've got the opportunity to actually fill up your board and your cats can just attack during your turn. They don't have they do have Summoning Sickness, but they come at the end of your opponent's turn, so they lose that Summoning Sickness at the beginning of your turn. And then the Batterskull, it's just, I don't take this out. I know life isn't relevant, but also control matchups, they're more than likely going to be running Doomblade, and the Germ is black, if no one has actually noticed that. The Germ is black, so it can't get Doombladed. It can get O-ringed, but, I mean, that's cool. You'll O-ring my Batterskull. That's not a big deal. But Karn comes in for Gideon Jura, and the reason why I can afford a 7-drop is because I can put in the extra land. So this guy helps so much. They really can't do anything against Karn except O-ring him. And unless they're running like green or something silly like that, they can't really, like, once any Planeswalker pretty much sticks, they're fucked. Like they're not going to have the creature base to actually kill him, because he's just so devastating. He generates card advantage, or he can remove something from the field. It's so good. He's really, really good. And then last but not least, 3 Surgical Extractions. Chances are any blue control deck are going to be running Snapcaster Mages. And for 2 life or 1 black mana, you can look at their hand and strip whatever is remaining of the target card that they're targeting with Snapcaster Mage. Or you could do it before they Snapcaster Mage. That is my board, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe. I know it's been pretty long. This is going to probably take ridiculously long to upload. It's 13 minutes. And hope you guys do well in F&M. And I would love to see results. So if you guys want to, you can PM me, or you can do a video response or something like that. And we'll see. I just like to look at other people's successes. Alright. Well, thanks a bunch, guys, and I'll see you in the next video, which is probably going to be the basics of Magic.